Hey everybody, welcome back. Winter solstice was yesterday, so we should now be looking at improving solar generation. The new battery bank has arrived. I've got to get that put together and plumbed into the system. What we've noticed with the panels lying flat on the roof, particularly in winter, is we're struggling to get the 32 kilowatt bank up to full charge. So adding another 16 kilowatts is going to make it even more challenging. I have gone up on the roof and tilted two of the strings, which I can just stuck up on the parapets to get them tilted, and we've seen a marked improvement, almost an extra kilowatt of power going into the batteries after just lifting those two strings. Now, for those of you that have been watching the channel, I'm not going to bore you with another video of how I put the battery pack together. If you haven't seen how we've done that, go and take a look at this video that I'll put a link to up here, and that'll take you through how we put the two battery packs together. So I'm going to tilt that back string of panels on the one inverter, and then I'm going to tilt this back set of panels on the other inverter. I'll start on this side because it's easier to do. Now I've set up screen recording on the iPad, so we can see how much difference this is going to make. This set of panels is going to be a little bit more difficult to do. Now if you take a look on the yellow bar graph on the right hand side, you'll see the steep jump from 3 kilowatts straight up. That's where I tilted the panels. Now what I've also done since getting home is I've upped the charging current on the two inverters. I had only set them to charge at 50 amps each. They're now charging at 100 amps each, assuming full sun. There's the other battery that needs to be assembled, but the garage is in quite a mess, so I'm going to have to make space. Something else that's been happening, I should have actually covered these terminals with grease before I went away. It's been growing stuff off the one terminal, so I'm going to have to clean them up. As you can see there, I've scraped most of the crap off. I need to clean them up and then grease them. Maybe this trip back I'm going to get the bike sorted and running. It's been standing for years. I need to take the carb off, strip it and clean it, and then get it going again, for no other reason than to piss off the nasty neighbor next door. No sign of any geoengineering trails, so hopefully that means we're going to have some cloudless days. So this is the area I've cleared up, so I'm going to start working on the batteries. No, my luck, it's upside down. Upside down. I have to say they do come very well packaged. There we go. No doubt Mandy will want to keep the cardboard for a vegetable garden. We'll add it to the pile of cardboard that's been sitting here since we did the last batteries. Just flat pack it. As you can see, space is at a premium in this place. There we go. I'll get back to you when it's built. Now, it's been a while since I put the last two battery banks together, so I'm going to have to go and refer to my previous video myself to remember how to put these things together. I'll be back. So, I've been putting this third battery bank together only using my previous video as a reference. The only issue I've found so far is on my previous video I mentioned that YS5 goes to positive when it actually goes to the negative terminal. But apart from that, so far so good. Now I am going to have to switch off because I don't want to loosen these off while the inverters are drawing and charging, so I will have to switch off, but it's getting dark. So what I've done is I've crimped one end on the roller cable, connecting it to the DC isolator here, and then I'll route it the way I want it to go, and then cut the other end off, trying not to waste any cable. Now they do say that you need to try and make sure that you keep the cables the same length. It's not entirely possible, unfortunately, but I'm doing my best. The reason they say this is if you don't keep them the same length, some batteries will charge faster than others or get more charge than the others, but I don't think it's going to be much of an issue, really. So I'll just route the cable the way that I want it to go. That'll go at the top, that'll be fine. I'll put some cable clips on this later. Let me say there, that should be good enough. Mark it, cut it with a pair of pliers. I don't have my side cutters, I don't know where they are. I don't know where anything is in this bloody garage anymore. There we go. That'll go in there, that'll be fine. Okay. I'll do the other cable and then come back. Can't avoid crossing to a certain extent, but they've got thick insulation on, so I'm not too worried. Tight. I really should get a decent cable cutter, but I think this will, well, there we go. Now I did share this little trick on the previous video, but I noticed I didn't film it very well, so I'm going to give it another go. It's a trick that really is worth knowing. So you need to measure how much of the insulation you want to remove. And then cut through the insulation, making sure you don't cut any of the strands. If you can cut it straight, it helps. And then you separate it like that. And then you want to make another cut a couple mils away from that one and separate it. So that's what you want to see, like that. And then you want to pull the big piece off, taking the thin piece with you, just to the edge of the cable. I'll normally pull the fat one off, the big piece off. So you've got that. And that keeps the strands together, so when you push it into the lug, it keeps all the strands in the lug, so you don't have any stray pieces sticking out. Once that's done, you just cut the thin piece and then peel the thin piece out of the way, and then you can push it on there. It saves me a lot of curse words when I found this trick, I can tell you that. And then just slide the heat shrink over. And then hit it with a heat gun. Last time I used a lighter, didn't work out so well. And you're done. Simple as that. What the hell? That's... forgot to crimp it. Don't do that. Okay, we'll do that again. Where's a crimping tool? Oh! Now, I myself am wondering why I got such a big one. Just want to get it in position, then you can push the cable in and then just crimp it. Now I like to crimp it a little bit, and then because it starts to make a piece that sticks out, then turn it 90 degrees and then crimp again and again and again, just to keep it round. These are not the best crimpers I've come across, to be honest. That should be good enough. Slide the heat shrink over again. And it's with a heat gun. Okay, so the third battery's been built. I've configured it. I now need to shut down everything so that I can just rearrange the batteries. So I need to disconnect those two batteries, reconnect them, and then we should be good to go. Now hopefully the disparity in charge, I've noticed this one's sitting at 52.2, that one's sitting at 47.6, and that one's sitting at 50.1. Hopefully it'll sort itself out. Switch the batteries on, let's see what happens. Okay, batteries are on. We've got power. There we go. Fire up the panels. Okay, so that's awesome. So it looks like the charge controller, the BMSs are talking to each other. This battery that's at 47.8 has got 12.2 amps going into it. This one that's at 51.9 is drawing 4.5 amps. And this one at 49.9 is drawing 4.9. So the BMS of all three batteries is talking to each other, and it's looking to bring the battery that's lower state of charge up. The LEDs at the top, that's flashing, means it's putting charge in. Those are not flashing, so it's not charging. Same with that one. Now you can see they're all charging. That one's getting 18 amps in, that one's getting 10, that one's getting 9. Huh. Awesome. 48.6 kilowatt hours of lithium iron phosphate storage for £4,039. I don't think you'll find it any cheaper anywhere else. Okay, so the inverters have been running with the 3 batteries for the last couple of days, but I've noticed something that I'm hoping you guys can give me a little bit of advice on. Remember, I was talking about trying to make sure all of your cable leads to the batteries are the same length. Well, that was a little bit impossible for me to do based on the layout that I've got. So I'm going to show you what my dilemma is at the moment, and hopefully you guys can tell me that it's nothing other than the fact that the cable lengths between the batteries and the inverters are different lengths. I'll show you what I mean. So that's the original primary battery bank, and that's the original secondary battery bank, and that is the new third battery bank. As you can see, the state of charge is quite significantly higher on the third battery bank compared to the secondary and the primary. Now, if you look at the cable lengths, the primary has got the longest cable run from the bus bars. The secondary has got a slightly longer cable run than the cable run from the bus bars to the third battery bank. Is that what the cause of this issue is? And is it something that I need to be concerned about? Let me know in the comments below. Would greatly appreciate your input. Although, if you look at the current going into the third battery bank, it's 14 amps. In the secondary is 23, and in the primary is 22. So that tells me the BMS is trying to bring the primary and secondary battery bank up to the same level of charge as the third battery bank. 16% higher state of charge on the third battery bank than the secondary. And the primary is only at 38.6% charge. Now, something else I noticed when I was running the generator, I had an electrical smell. I kept sticking my nose next to this new switch thinking it was coming from that. I went to move this out of the way and it was quite warm. And this is what I found. Obviously a bad connection. This is just something I used that I had lying around. I'm going to create a better extension lead from the generator, put a new plug on. Hopefully it'll not do that anymore. Okay, I need your help. I thought I had this all figured out, but clearly not. I'll show you what I'm talking about now. So next morning, that's the primary battery, which is what's reported on Solar Assistant. That's the secondary battery, and that's the new third battery. I thought this would all sort itself out with a BMS adjusting charge going into each of the batteries, but clearly not. We've got some sunny days ahead now, so we'll see what happens when it gets to 100% charge on all of them. I'm hoping that'll resolve it. But I wouldn't have expected to see such a disparity in state of charge between these three batteries. Well, that's it for this week, everybody. Thanks for watching. Hope you all have a happy new year filled with plenty of sunshine. Take care. Ciao.